I think the Last Samurai movie really portrayed it well, the Bushido culture in the movie. The director, the cast, and the crew really understood the culture. And I was very impressed, and all I could do was to learn from them. I didn't know much about samurai culture back in days. And all I was worried about was doing my job and portraying a true samurai. So I had to really investigate and study what the samurai was all about back in days. But besides studying samurai from the book, I had to hear from people who actually studied samurai culture for a long time. So I was able to communicate with them and spend some time learning about samurai for the movie. Working with Tom Cruise was wonderful in The Last Samurai. He was very humble, generous, and professional, and I was watching how he worked and treat his own people. It was all wonderful, and he really studied about Japanese culture, especially the Bushido. So I was very impressed. Not only Tom Cruise, but other cast as well. I was very fortunate and grateful to be part of the movie, learning from great masters that worked on the movie. They were all great, and I was very humbly studying what they're teaching me. And one of the teacher, Mr. Koji Fuji, he taught me Kyudo, a Japanese archery, and Yabusame, a type of Japanese archery riding a horse. I had no idea how to do both styles, but he was very humble and generous, and we spent some time training together besides working on the styles on the set between scenes, but we sometimes got together on the weekend on day offs. He was very kind enough to take some time off and spend some time training privately. Sometimes, occasionally, we went to a nearby Kyudo dojo and practiced. We actually even paid from our own pocket monies to do that. I first started learning Japanese martial arts, karate, under Yoshi Tadashi sensei in Okayama, Japan. And I also did kendo and judo as a school program in high school in Okayama, Japan. And I was only 16 years old when I started my first martial arts, which was karate. And I moved to the United States in 2000 when I was 18, and I started Northern Shaolin Kung Fu under Shifu Kisu. And then I started working on Kyudo and Yabusame. Yabusame is let's go back. Kyudo is a Japanese archery. Yabusame is a type of Japanese archery while riding a horse. It's very traditional sports, very difficult to do. I worked on that styles when I was working on the film The Last Samurai. Then I started working on Aikido under Kensho Furuya sensei, and I did Taekwondo, and I also did some Shaolin Kung Fu from other teachers. And recently, I've been working on Korean martial arts called Kunju Muso, a Korean royal court martial arts under Grandmaster Sun Tae-yan with Master Jim Moore up in Northern California. I got into martial arts because I was watching a lot of movies, such as American and Hong Kong movies, surprisingly. Not a lot of Japanese films. I watched a bunch of movies outside of Japan. And I was motivated to start martial arts. And my parents were against it. My parents didn't want me to be a martial artist or being an actor. But I was motivated and determined to do what I wanted to do. So I found my karate teacher in the neighborhood. He was very nice and took me in. And and I decided to take his classes. And there's an interesting story there. It's a really long story, but basically my karate training began sparring with my teacher from the very first day. And before the class, before everybody arrived, and during the class, I did basic trainings, punching, kickings, and forms. And after the class, he took me to the ground techniques, and he taught me the ground techniques. But you're a karate teacher. Why are you teaching me ground techniques? And plus, I don't know any karate techniques. Why do you want me to fight you? What am I supposed to do? And he said, well, just try to knock me down. I said, okay. But I tried, never succeeded, but I tried. And then something like that every weekend for 2 years. He taught me sparring before class, during the day, basics, and after class, ground techniques. And he sometimes took me to other karate schools and put me fight against the black belt practitioners. I had only white belt at the time, and I never understood why he's putting me in this situation, fighting against a bunch of black belt. Well, he never told me why, and I never asked him why, because that's a tradition. You never ask a question to your teacher. You do whatever you have to do when your teacher told you to do. So I did. Went to schools after schools, and it was a very fearful experience for me to do that. But also, plus, he took me to All Japan Karate National Championship held in Nagano, Japan. And he suggested me to compete, and I did. And in my high school division, they were all black belt competitioners. I had only white belt practitioner. And he put me in an adult group division. I teamed up with my classmates and fought against other schools. And they were all adults and masters, and I was very fearful, but I did. But anyway, that was my karate days in Japan. I came to the United States. And I never knew that there were other styles existed in martial arts. When I came to the United States, this is when I found out about other styles. So I got into other styles. And I also found out martial arts for movies and martial arts for real. And there are two complete distinctions between two movie martial arts and the martial arts. So I started exposing martial arts movies, and wow, this is very different. It's all about synchronizing the rhythm for the movies. And the real martial arts is all about breaking the rhythm. Two different things. And traditionally, I didn't want to tell what I've done in tournaments, what style I do. I didn't want to show off and talk about it. But in the movie industry, you need to show and demonstrate sometimes. So I had to deal with two different things. But anyway, so what I decided to do is when I do martial arts for the movies, I only focus on actions for movies. When I practice martial arts, I only focus on martial arts, never talk much, never show off anything besides events and stuff like that. I want to pursue my martial arts career besides completely away from movie industry, because it gets you confused when you mix it, and takes you off your personality as a martial artist, because it's two different things. So when I do martial arts as an action star or action actor, I would like to mix different arts and introduce different cultures in movies. They're all great martial arts. Every style has something to give. And this is something I can introduce and show and deliver the styles to the audience in the world. So that this is what I decided to do, and this is what I like to do for the future. Well, according to my grandfather, he he told me that your ancestors were samurais from the Satsuma domain, which is Kagoshima Prefecture today. He also pointed out that you are the descendant, direct descendant of our clan, the passed on generations for over 1,000 years. I was raised in a more traditional environment. My parents were very strict and traditional in a way that I was never allowed to absent from schools for 12 years, from elementary, junior high, and high schools. No matter what, even a day, you know, you have to go to school. You're sick, but go to school. You learn something from school. If you get really sick and you can't even listen to a teacher, just go to a place that you see a doctor in a school, but just go to school every day, be consistent. And I was also never allowed to dye my hairs to blonde, you know, a lot of younger kids do nowadays, and pierce earring, and tattoo my bodies, throw garbage on the street, spit. I was never allowed to do that. And my parents were also strict in a way that I have to go to sleep at 9 o'clock every night. Well, 8 o'clock, I had to sit in front of my desk and do something. Study, reading a book, do something. At 9 o'clock sharp, you go to sleep. You wake up 5 o'clock in the morning. And I did that from elementary to junior high. And in high school, I was allowed to do more flexible things, you know, going to sleep 10, 11, basically whatever I want. But in earlier years, I had to do that. I think going to other countries to learn the art that you're exposed to helps yourself to understand more about what the style is all about. But it's sometimes, it's for some people, it is important for them to stick with only one style. It's very traditional in Asia to stick with only one style. For example, in Japanese martial arts, karate-do. If you stay and study karate-do in Japan for a while and exposed to the culture, tradition, and language, you're sort of forced to learn them, the culture, tradition, and language. So you start understanding the essence of the manner and the tradition behind techniques in karate-do. That's personal, I believe. It's important to go to other countries. Well, the principles of martial arts really help individual to be a better person because martial arts has a lot to offer to learn about yourself. It's about your character development. by training martial arts. For example, you can develop your disciplines by training every day and following your teachers and following the orders from teachers and practicing with others and understand other people. And also it helps to get self-discovery and learn about respect, honesty, and courtesy. Take your time finding the right teacher that understands you really.